Welcome back to NTV News First Edition. In light of the number of recent plane crashes in Canada and the United States, many people are grappling with heightened anxiety over flying. Well, joining me now to discuss this is Dr. Janine Hubbard with this week's Get Psyched with Dr. Janine. It's nice to see you again.
Well, likewise, Tony.
So how do you see these events impacting, I guess, the mental health of frequent flyers, but also those with some pre-existing fears of air travel?
Well, certainly it's very dramatic and compelling footage, and it's one that I think a lot of us, you see initial images and you seek out more, whether or not that's good for you. What we tend to see is people who have long-standing phobias around flying. This just confirms that phobia and just entrenches it. But what we do see is that, perhaps sort of the mild to moderate fearful flyer, it is having an impact, and it is kind of, just the, oh, I know I have to do this and I'm going to push through it, but oh, this, I'm feeling really uncomfortable about it.
Children watch the news probably as much as they always have, if not more. And there's certainly children are traveling a lot more than they used to. So how do children usually respond to these sorts of stories? Are they affected by this as well?
Absolutely, because again, these are big dominating news stories. They're dramatic. There's lots of images. It's something that a lot of people are talking about, especially because we've had a few recently that, were a little closer to home in terms of perhaps on Canadian soil or involving, we had the plane from Newfoundland to Halifax. So people have been seeing a little bit more personal involvement. And I think one of the strategies is to provide the reassurance. And the statistics are out there. It's, millions in one chance of being in a plane accident versus all the everyday things we do. For kids, I sometimes use a little bit of humor. Find the stats on what are the odds of, being attacked by a shark or being attacked by a hippopotamus, or, don't talk about the car accidents. Talk about the things that are really unlikely. But we also know that anxiety and logic don't always go together. So sometimes we need to do some additional steps in terms of preparation.
And that kind of takes me to my next question. So what advice then do you have for someone who's watching this tonight? They've got a flight coming up, trip coming up, and they're pretty anxious, especially because of these recent events.
Well, for sure. So some of it is, like I say, looking at the stats, using your cognitive skills, and also kind of looking forward to what's happening on the other end. I use that when I have really long travel. It's just painful and monotonous, but it's like, right, but what am I going to get when I get there? That's the bonus. But a lot of it's preparation. So know your coping style. Are you someone who needs to actively do kind of relaxation and grounding? Are you someone who needs to use distraction as your primary tool? Are you someone who needs a fidget to kind of, keep yourself in your seat? But also really sit down and analyze, what are the aspects of flight that you find frightening? Is it the takeoff? Is it the landing? Is it the, feeling confined when you're there? What are the particular things that you find stressful? And then being able to really target some strategies. Welcome to our lovely technology world. There are great simulations available either in video form or in particular, if you really are fearful, with like the VR goggles that will walk you through every step of what to expect on a flight. And then you can practice and practice and practice until you're able to kind of go through some of that in a calm state. There are psychologists who can help treat this. This is a very treatable condition if it's something you're worried about. Perhaps you've had a panic attack on a previous flight, something like that that has made you associate flight with really unpleasant experiences. It's worth seeking help because it is very treatable. There are some people who will use medication. I always say use medication with caution when appropriate, absolutely, but sometimes that can actually make you feel more disoriented and more out of control, and be mindful about use of alcohol to kind of combat those flight anxieties. But know that this is treatable, it's manageable, and like I say, I'll look up the stats on being attacked by a shark, but I promise you they are much more likely than odds of being in an accident while flying.
All right, Dr. Janine Hubbard, thank you so much. I'm sure a lot of people feel a little better now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Take care.
And this is a beautiful